welcome back. Let's get back to our stories of Slaanesh. They who seek excess, the Hedonites of Slaanesh. They thrill at all forms of sensation, and the more extreme the stimulus, the better. They are united only by a singular, supernatural focus on their own desire for excess. Hedonites will compete amongst themselves to perform the most outrageous acts in service to their deity, hoping that in their perfection of their unrestrained behavior, they will set their absent god free. And though it may be a horrifying thought, they are right. If the worshippers of Slaanesh bring enough willful violence and wickedness to the mortal realms, Slaanesh will once again rise to glory amongst the pantheon of chaos and bring decadent ruin to those who sought to restrain the Lord of Depravity. Wrought in mortal flesh. Though mortal Hedonites, known as Sybarites, may begin their journey to damnation as simple thrill-seekers and sensationalists, they soon become enslaved to their proclivities and addictions. Everything wholesome and sound is left behind, morality and even sanity abandoned as a snake sloths off its skin, till only a living incarnation of desire remains. Those who regularly indulge in secret vices unwittingly empower Slaanesh, and are but a hair's breadth away from worship, whether intentional or not. Even a breathy word from a demon of Slaanesh crossing the aether, much as a kiss blown from the lips, can push such an individual over the edge into a spiral of obsession. A small voice may cry out within the soul, warning that all is not well, that way lies madness, but is drowned out by the relentless tide of temptation that emanates from Slaanesh to lap against every mortal with a taste for indulgence. A savored luxury or secret treat, formerly partaken of only as a reward or during celebration, develops into a semi-regular fixture of a person's routine. An artist gradually neglects their social responsibilities in order to labor over their self-proclaimed magnum opus, egged onwards by sickly whispers in their mind. As the mortal's willpower gradually erodes, those moments of weakness become a daily occurrence, and eventually the sole focus of their existence. Preoccupation leads to intemperance, then decadence, then debauchery. All proper duties and innocent pursuits are put aside, material possessions and even loved ones bartered away so that the next fix may come a few moments sooner. By this time it's too late, for Slaanesh's claim upon that soul is all but concrete. When all caution is thrown to the wind, and the corrupted individual reveals themselves as a seeker of extreme experience to the exclusion of all else, a dark metamorphosis can take place, both within and without. Their unspoken pact with Slaanesh is often sealed with the blade, for should the obsessive feel driven to kill in order to protect or further their grotesque vice, they pass the point of no return. Those who commit murder or shatter sacred taboos in the name of their obsession complete their sinister transformation into a Sybarite, a mortal warrior of the Dark Prince. Their destiny from then on is to convert alongside friends and monsters in the service of a gloating, uncaring god, until they lie torn and forgotten by the wayside. Many of these depraved mortals have grotesque anatomies clad in subtasious clothing and bedazzling jewels. They sport artful war paint and cosmetic flourishes applied to features so distorted that they strike a note of horror into the heart. The mutants amongst their ranks often have wide, orb-like eyes, their giant pupils so dilated they appear as wells of darkness black that drink in every detail. Others are noseless, their olfactory organs gaping pits that channel every scent straight into the brain, or have long pointed ears that twitch in the time of the heartbeats of those they seek to slay. Long, fluid slick tongues push out from their elongated maws to taste the air, delighting in the sensory banquet of the battlefield. Opulent champions stride atop living carpets of devoid sycophants, utterly lost in self-destructive spiral of obsession. Though they may seem dazzling, urbane, even charming, these maniacal overlords are supremely deadly warriors, and there is no depth of depravity they will not stoop to in order to satisfy their perverse whims. Swift outriders mounted on trilling demonic steeds range around the carnival's periphery in search for sensation. Elegantly armored warriors and demonic sybarites turn death into a grisly art form, their every killing strike delivered with a disturbing grace. Some, in the act of making their desires central to their existence, are rewarded with mutations and other strange powers. These tend to further the devotee's ability to immerse themselves in the vice, encouraging them to wallow in madness until they embody their own corruption to a supernatural degree. Over time, they grow into forms perfectly suited for the acts of excess upon which they thrive, just as the deep leeches of Garan have adapted to feed on the blood of those who stray into their swamps. Indulgence given form. The demons of Slaanesh that fight alongside the Sybarites are, in a sense, avatars of their god. All demons are formed of the same essence as their deity they serve. Through their vile acts and strangely enthralling demeanor, one can get a glimpse of the beautiful, yet repugnant nature of the Dark Prince. They are all possessed of a burning need to bathe in every excessive act they can conceive of, and bring about the same need in their mortal prey. Slaanesh demons are usually lithe and pale of skin, favoring the most expensive gems, metals, and silks, even wearing tanned human skin and as fine leather, or cloaks of stitched together and still functioning organs. A fixation upon material possessions is a vice like any other, and vanity, or rather outright narcissism, is among the Dark Prince's favorites. Ambitious and self-aggrandizing, Slaanesh's demons do everything they can to increase their standing in the courts of their godly master, whether through poisoned words, infighting, dark pacts, or the pursuit of genuine excellence. The vector matters little, only the results, and their elevated place amongst their unhallowed kind. Multiple arms and appendages are common in the ranks of the Slaaneshi demons, each ending in razored claws or darting pincers that can snip straight through a victim's limb in a burst of gory sensation. Long, sinuous tails wrap around their prey like serpents, constricting to squeeze the life from them with something that is half lover's caress, half murderous stranglehold. To a large extent of the hedonite demon's anatomy is determined by their own vicious drives and unwholesome lusts. Their forms are a catalogue of fleshy horrors that are not hidden, but proudly adorned and put on display for all to see. Hedonites at war. The hedonites of Slaanesh savor the sensations of open war as a gourmet savors rich food and wines. Small wonder when one considers the intensity of experience to be enjoyed in the thick of open conflict. On the battlefield can be found extreme terror, agonizing pain, fiercely burning hope, and bloodlust given free rein, and the hedonites delight in every nuance of hostility, as they deliver one perfect kill after another. They are gluttons seeking to ingest as much sensation as they can, not caring how their blows land, only that they do, and in great measure. They often fight with several weapons at once, tongues, tails, and other extremities spiking out alongside, scything talons and slashing blades. The highest in status sometimes ride bladed-wheeled chariots designed to deliver the maximum amount of carnage as quickly as possible. To a devotee of Slaanesh, their particular obsession seems to them the only correct path to the glory of the Dark Prince. Those with other priorities are considered simpletons or barbarians, unable to appreciate the gifts of their absent patron. To those who face the hedonites on the battlefield, it makes little difference. They see only a cavalcade of madness racing to them, howling and shrieking in hideous glee as they close in for the kill. One of the strangest and most unsettling aspects of the hedonite is that, despite the corruption they wear so openly, and despite the aura of blackest indulgence they emanate, they are somehow alluring to the mortal eye. Slender, naked limbs entwined in languid gestures as these demons frolic and slink as unclean mirages of attraction, making it hard to tear the eyes away. Those who proved weak-willed will find themselves stumbling half-dazed into the waiting arms of the hedonites, believing they will experience a pleasure like no other. They are soon disabused of the notion, for instead of finding sensational delights, they are slashed or torn apart by leering monstrosities that held them spellbound a few moments before. To a hedonite, the screams elected by such a terrible revelation, are the sweetest music. Though they consider themselves fierce rebels and pioneers of experience, all Hedonites are united in the same ultimate agenda: to see the realms reshaped as an endless dark paradise. Unlike the servants of other chaos gods, they would not have reality as a single, all-encompassing annex of their deity's home territory, for Slaanesh fears boredom and uniformity more than all things. Instead, they would engender a million forms of debauchery and overindulgence, constantly venturing further into the depths of their own depravity, much to their master's perverse enjoyment. Regardless of what form these new purgatories would take, and it is uncertain that even Slaanesh knows from one day to the next, they would have one thing in common: all semblance of decency, purity, and restraint would be outlawed, a distant memory defined only by failure and imminent, agonizing death. That was the brief little story encapsulation of the Hedonites and the mortals, in the general sense. I think it was a nice way to get the feel of the army and the spirit of it. I do not like, however, how they describe them fighting. I could see, like, the Twin Souls maybe fighting like that and everything, but, like, the Painbringers clearly don't fight like that. They're about martial perfection. And I think that's kind of lost in the fighting aspect of the sensation. They lose the perfection part of Slaanesh, which I find really intriguing. It's the most interesting part for me, is seeking perfection. And when they go into battle, I see it as more of like a one hit, one strike, one kill type of thing, or one strike, multiple kills. But they're always clean, precise, right where they want it, not flailing. And the way they described it, I picture it more of like a flailing madness. They describe them almost how I picture of how Flesh Eater courts go into battle, where it's just crazed maniacs charging the line. That's what you would expect from like Khorne people, not sensation, perfection seeking type of people. Because if they're just going in madly, just swinging away just to swing, like, they're going to get hit, they're going to feel it, but they're probably going to die too. They're not getting the sensations they want. They're going to end all their sensations by ending their life. But that's just kind of my feel from it. The rest of it I really enjoyed personally. I hope you all did too. I think, as I'm sure everybody knows by now, Slaanesh is my favorite Chaos God, and going through this book has been a lot of fun for me. And I'm going to keep going through it. But I will give breaks and dive into the other books I own for everybody else. So it's not just a one-note channel for everybody. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching this video and sticking around with me. I'll see you next time. Have a good day.